Yo people, we are about to watch Marching Powder, which should be very good, hopefully, fingers crossed. We're going to do a review in it in the car. I don't know when the previous video came out about Rolling Thunder interview, but this film should be very good. So fingers crossed, I'm looking forward to Marching Powder. It's right up my alley. I love Danny Dyer, so let's find out how good it is. It's time to enter the void. Hello everybody! So just watched Marching Powder. That was a fun film. It was better than what I thought it was actually going to be, you know. It's a really fun film. I think the main thing that stood out to me was how controversial it was in a real good way. They didn't give a shit. Like, there was some real offensive jokes and just they just didn't give a fuck, which I loved. I thought it was brilliant. You know, because that's comedy, you know, it's just a joke at the end of the day, and that's that. And I don't know how many, excuse my language, but the amount of times the word cunt was said, at least a minimum of 50 times. I think that's just why I got such a high age rating as an 18, just due to excessive swearing, because it wasn't really gore or anything else. It's just some, you know, grown-up things, as in sexual explicit content. But yeah, the point I'm trying to make is there was a lot of swearing, but you know what, I like how there was loads of swearing, and I just liked how it was true. You know, the film was funny, it was fun. I think the style was very similar to Edgar Wright. You know, it was very energetic, lots of pull-ins, whip pans, zooms, and I thought that was brilliant. I loved how there was all of that going on. You know, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, I really enjoyed the film. It was very similar to Football Factory, same director, I think somewhat similar casting, obviously Danny Dyer, but other people I think I recognise most of them from other films. I fancy watching another fucking film now. God, my film addiction. My cinema addiction! It's the best addiction you can have. But yeah, what was I gonna say? It was a really good film. Yeah, I love the fight scenes as well, how they're shot. You know, there's mini zooms and they're zooming in, and it's at quite a fast shutter speed. There's not much motion blur, so you can see what's going on, but it's moving the camera's moving very frantically all over the place to make you, you know, be in that perspective, and the slow zooms where you don't really know what's going on. I thought it was really good. I like the rivalry between the gangs. I thought it was really good. I liked the humour. The humour was the best thing that stood out to me due to its controversy. I didn't really give a shit. We need more of that. We need the pendulum to swing the other way, and I feel like Marching Powder is doing that, and I love how, you know, more films need to be like that, where they just, you know, they don't give a shit. There's been times in cinema where it's been very hush hush, and just right, you can't say that, you can't do this, which is the time we're living in now. Realistically, you know, there's certain things you can't say, there's certain things you can't joke about. Marching Powder joked about pretty much all of them, which was really good. Because it's funny, it's just a joke, you know. It's just it's nothing to be taken seriously or to heart. It's just something humorous. And you know, in the 90s and the 70s, there was that time in which there was movies were very out there. No one gave a shit. It was just very controversial. And then the 80s obviously was a time in which things were very, you know, everything was just very there was a lot of rules applied to it. You couldn't say certain things and do certain things. So the point I'm trying to make is, I feel like lots of films nowadays they're shying away from being funny because they might offend people, or they might do that. But I think it's good that films like Marching Powder, for example, come out and they just say funny shit and just do humorous stuff. And I like that. I thought it was really good. Because as I said, it's just some humour. It's just a joke. Life moves on, man. But Marching Powder, I like the camera work of it. I really like the camera work. I love that energetic camera work where the camera's just flowing all the time. The cinematography is actually really good as well. I thought the performance is really good. I said the humour is really good. I like the story. The one thing I will say, you know what, when I'm driving, when I say negative things about a film, it's usually always on this fucking road as well. It probably just is the pace in which I'm speaking out, but just a weird coincidence. But the negative, I would say, is just how it was a bit repetitive. Kind of in the middle and towards the end, it felt like we were it just felt like we're doing the same sort of...
19, not
Shut the fuck up! I just felt like we were doing the same sort of thing, you know, drugs and his wife. repetitive. Again, it's just a slight dig. It's something that I thought was like detrimental to the film, or I was like that's just terrible. You know, it wasn't anything like that. I just thought it just got a bit repetitive sometimes. I was just a bit like, I've kind of seen this now. But I thought that the first 30 minutes was really, really good. But yeah, I just feel like some things kept going on and on again. Maybe it's because it kind of just is to show Danny Dyer's life and like how he's constantly going back into his bad old habits. But I don't want to be bored as an audience member, so you can show that, but I think you just got to do it in an entertaining way, which I think they tried to do, but I wasn't as entertained in some bits than I thought I could have. They are probably training for the Gloucester Marathon. There's some runners to my right, and there is a Gloucester Marathon going on Sunday the 30th of March. It usually happens, in which there is a marathon, a half marathon from Gloucester. They shut off the roads, and I got work on that Sunday, so it's going to be annoying to get to work. But the point I'm trying to make is there's going to be lots of marathon runners. I fancy doing it. I don't know if I can still sign up to it, you know. I don't even need to train for it. I'd rock up. Those are the famous last words they are. Fuck me. Those are some last words. I don't even need to train for it. Anyway, Marching Powder was a fun film. As I said, I think it surprisingly did, like, it's a film that's meant to be like fun, you know? It's not meant to be an artistic film, you know? So the fact that there was good cinematography and good performances and everything, which is sometimes overlooked with these type of films, I thought was really good. I like the music as well, like the text, the fonts. The beginning was really good, like an animated intro. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say. 6 minutes. It's surprising how quick the traffic there's no traffic on the road, how quick you can get to places. There was some really good like humor as well. With the humor, there was some like just like up-to-date jokes, like jokes about like just current political issues, and just jokes like now, and just things of like now, just presence on social media and stuff, which I thought again was really, really good. I wouldn't say there's any. I take that back. There was no political issues. There was just jokes of the time now. It was very similar, as I said, to Football Factory, which I really enjoyed. Football Factory was a little bit different in the sense that Football Factory is more about the actual football, and it was more about being at the football games and just the life of him. But this was more of a it was a rom-com, which this film was a rom-com. A rom-com with a twist is what actual Marching Powder is. This film definitely was meant to be released on February, but was meant to be released on Valentine's Day. 100%. Reckon the studio and the production just fucked it, and they just had to release it a bit later, which is a shame because it would have been really good on Valentine's Day. But it was 100% meant for Valentine's Day. There's no way, or it's a coincidence that they were going to release it and it just didn't happen because of some shit. But there's no way that film was meant to release in March. I refuse to believe that. But these films are really good to learn because it's these type of films, crime films, British films, I love crime films. Crime is my favourite genre, then I'd say horror is probably second. I just love films in general, but crime is my favourite. It is my favourite. So this is something I really like to see, and it's really good for me to learn and be educated by, because this is a film I would somewhat like to make, and a film that I would be kind of making. You know, so it just would be, because it's something I like. And it's good to learn from that, because it's something that I can really learn from, because it's something I would probably create and replicate. And it's good to see kind of it's not necessarily a big studio film, but it's definitely a medium kind of film. It's not an indie film, but it's, you know, it's definitely got a budget behind it, and, you know, a funding behind it. But it's just good to learn from something that you would probably want to replicate, because you just learn a lot from it because you just enjoy it. And I felt that with Marching Powder. And I really like the animation with it as well. I like how Danny Dyer breaks the 4/4 as well. He breaks the 4/4 really well, where he's not just like staring at the camera and just speaking to the camera. He actually turns around sometimes and says some really funny shit. Yeah. And Danny Dyer was also really good in this film, but I don't know if he wrote the film, or Nick Love. I don't know who like started this film, but whoever did, that Danny Dyer had something to do with it. Danny Dyer knew before, or was told before, because there's no way they were going to recast somebody as that role, because it's just a full-on Danny Dyer role. That is, you know, I came out of the cinema want to scrap someone, like Jesus Christ. I came out of the cinema want to like say, what you fucking want, you fucking mag? Come on, over here, you fucking cunt. You know, that's how powerful that film was. It was a small cinema as well, actually. It was a small little screen. It wasn't particularly massive screen, so it was not. I like the small cinemas. But that's all I had to say really about Marching Powder. As I said, I really enjoyed it. You should go and watch it. Thought it was a fun film, different film, controversial and funny, and it's just a good old crack, good old laugh. I think it's a good film to watch with your friends, maybe even for a date. I think, you know, I think it's just a good film to watch with the people. I didn't watch it with anybody because I'm lonely. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not kidding, but but I think it would be a good social film. That's all I have to say, people. I'm nearly home now. Please don't crash. Please don't crash. Whee! Do a fucking Yui. Right, people, I'll see you whenever. Have a good evening, afternoon. Hope you enjoyed my review. Go watch Marching Powder. It was fun. Oh shit.